Hi guys, my name is Tracy Fink. I'm a certified wedding planner who's been planning weddings for more than 20 years. I'm also the owner of Weddings by Tracy and the co-founder of Wedding Planner on Call. So I'm a mother of 6 kids and 7 animals. So it is possible that I am very in tune with my couple's emotions. But there's something that I've seen over the last 20 years is that there is this cycle when it comes to the emotions that my couples face through the whole planning process. And I think it's important that we understand going into planning a wedding what those cycles are, um, so that doesn't add undue stress on you, which is already a stressful event to begin with. So let's go through what I've seen as the cycles of wedding planning. All right, the first cycle is obviously when you first get engaged. This is a time where you are euphoric. You are so excited. You are talking to everybody that will listen about the fact that you've just gotten engaged. You are going out and you're buying all the magazines. You're going on the websites and joining all the websites and any kind of social media group that you can find that has anything to do with weddings. Now, whether you have planned your wedding since you were a little bitty child, all the way up to never even given it a second thought, all of a sudden you are obsessed. So everything that you think about, everything that you do is centered around planning your wedding. So this is an euphoric, exciting time, and you think, this is great. And then the next cycle happens. All right, the next cycle is when you start planning. Once you get over that initial excitement, you realize there's so much more to planning a wedding than just looking online and picking things that you think look pretty or that you think, that would be great. It's a lot more in depth. It's more about researching vendors. It's do you what questions do you ask the vendors? Are you getting a good value? There's all these different components that go into each of the different vendors. And I always say you don't know what you don't know. Like for me, if I'm gonna go buy a car, I don't know anything about cars. I know that they drive. So when I go in and first go to a dealership, I'm like, oh, that looks good. I like that. Does it drive? Great. But I don't know what I don't know. Wedding planning is exactly the same way. Unless you've been planning weddings or events your whole life, you realize really quickly that there is a lot more that goes into it. So you take that excitement that you had in that first cycle, and then you start to feel overwhelmed and you start to get stressed and you start to get really, really busy doing all these things with planning your wedding. And it's normal to feel that way. Then the next cycle happens. All right, the next cycle is usually a couple of months before the wedding. You've already finished getting all of your vendors. You've already gone through picking, researching, doing all that. Then you kind of have a lull. I like to call it like a valley. You're really, really busy up here when you're planning, and then you have this kind of lull in between where you really don't have a lot to do. You start to second guess yourself. You start to wonder, okay, am I supposed to be doing something? What are other people doing? Did I forget something? Maybe I should go back and redo something. You start to second guess yourself and really feel this kind of sense of boredom and kind of complacency. And it's natural to feel that way. It will start to worry you. What I like to tell my couples is sit back and enjoy the calm, because pretty soon that calm goes bye bye. Sure enough, we hit the next cycle. All right, the next cycle starts usually about 2 months, a month to 2 months before your wedding. This is when all of a sudden you're getting the emails and the calls from the vendor saying, okay, let's set up your timeline. What time would you like me to arrive? Do you need ice with that? What kind of linens would you like? Have you already thought about who's going to be driving whom to where? And who's going to be bringing the stuff back at the end of the night? All these type questions start to come up really fast, and it becomes very overwhelming, and you start to realize, holy cow, I don't know if I'm in over my head. Am I doing everything? Did I forget something? Who's going to pack this? Especially if you're a DIY bride, in which case you've been making all these different items. Do I have enough of what I need? So you become very overwhelmed that last 2 months, month with all the logistics, the timeline, all the things that will make that day go smoothly. Again, it's one of those things where all of a sudden you think, I'm going to go elope. I'm done with this. I'm done planning my wedding. I'm so over this. That is natural to feel. I always tell my couples that at the end of the day, remember what the end goal is, and that's to be married. That's to marry your best friend. So don't worry about all this feelings that you have. It's very natural to get short fused, to start getting kind of crabby with your fiance or friends and family. It's natural to maybe start to fight a little bit. Everybody's getting kind of on edge. Everybody's getting stressed, and it's natural to feel that way. Just remember that that's what it is, that it's a cycle, and not to put too much thought into the fact that maybe you and your fiance or you and your family or whatever are fighting a little bit about this. It's normal, and you will get through it. All right, final cycle. Holy crap, it's wedding day. If you've slept at all over the last, say, week or so before your wedding, that morning when you wake up, you will feel very excited. You'll be stressed. You'll be super nervous. And you will really start to wonder, like, okay, this is the day. This is it. What did I forget? Do I have everything? Totally normal, and it is okay. This is the day that you need to just literally put all those stresses, all those thoughts aside, and just breathe and enjoy the day. It will go by very fast. It will be a blur. You won't even realize as the days going by everything. Things that people said, who did you see? What did you do? It goes so fast, and you're so caught up in your emotions that you won't even remember half of it. So sit back, try as hard as you can to take it all in. Try to enjoy the love that's being bestowed upon you. And remember at the end of the day that you're going to be walking down the aisle to marry your best friend. That's what matters. That's what's the most important thing. Everything else around the wedding reception and stuff is just the icing on the cake. At the end of the day, you're marrying your best friend. Just keep telling yourself that when the nerves and any kind of problems that come up, any of those type feelings, that's what you need to think about. And at the end of the day, breathe. I cannot stress this enough. I know it seems just, of course I'm going to breathe, but it's very common for my couples to start to get that kind of panicky, almost like they're starting to hyperventilate feeling. The last thing your friends, your family, your fiance, your planner want is for you to pass out. So just breathe, enjoy it. You've got this. This is one of the most important days of your life. You want to remember it, and you want to be present in that moment. So again, when you're going through these cycles, please know that each one is going to be a little bit different. There's some pros and some cons to both of them, but at the end of the day, it takes you from newly engaged to the time you get married. And the whole thing is a process. It's a cycle. Just enjoy it. For more wedding tips, please follow us on Instagram and Facebook, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you have any questions or would like some one-on-one time, I would love to talk with you. Please send us an email at info@weddingplanneroncall.com or info@weddingsbytracy.com. Bye for now.